Imagine a world where one man's wrath could erase entire civilizations, where the ground trembled under the hooves of 1,000,000 horses, and the air filled with the screams of the conquered. This is the story of life under Genghis Khan's Mongol Empire, a realm built on blood, fear, and unyielding brutality. In just a few decades, Genghis Khan forged the largest contiguous empire in history, stretching from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. But behind the glory lies a nightmare of massacres, forced relocations, and merciless laws that terrorized millions. Buckle up, we're diving into the horrors that made this empire unstoppable. The rise of a ruthless leader, Genghis Khan, born Temujin around 1162 on the harsh Mongolian steppes, didn't start as a conqueror. He was forged by tragedy. His father was poisoned by rivals when he was just 9, leaving his family abandoned by their tribe to starve in the unforgiving wilderness. Temujin endured slavery, betrayal, and constant warfare among nomadic clans. These early hardships instilled in him a survival instinct that bordered on paranoia, and a willingness to do anything to unite the Mongols under his rule. By 1206, after years of brutal tribal wars, he was proclaimed Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler. But unity came at a cost. He executed rivals by pouring molten silver into their eyes and ears, or boiling them alive. This set the tone for an empire where loyalty was absolute, and betrayal meant agonizing death. The art of terror, conquest, and massacre. The Mongols' military genius was matched only by their savagery. With an army of highly mobile horsemen, superb archers who could shoot accurately while galloping, they employed psychological warfare to break enemies before battles even began. Genghis's policy was simple: surrender immediately, and you might live as a tributary. Resist, and face annihilation. Take the campaign against the Khwarezmian Empire in 1219. After a Mongol caravan was massacred, Genghis retaliated with fury. Cities like Nishapur and Herat were razed. Survivors reported piles of skulls stacked into pyramids as warnings. In one infamous incident, the Mongols slaughtered over 1,000,000 people in Merv, leaving the streets flowing with blood. Women and children were not spared, often used as human shields or enslaved. Genghis even diverted rivers to flood-resistant cities, drowning thousands. Estimates suggest the Mongols killed up to 40 million people, about 11% of the world's population at the time. They let a few survivors flee to spread tales of horror, ensuring future targets surrendered without a fight. This wasn't just war, it was engineered terror on a global scale. For those who survived conquest, life under Mongol rule was a constant dread. Conquered peoples were subjected to heavy tributes, forced labor, and mass relocations. Artisans, scholars, and workers were uprooted from their homes, sometimes thousands of miles away, to serve the empire's needs. German miners were dragged to Mongolia to forge weapons. Chinese engineers built siege machines for further invasions. The nomadic Mongol lifestyle added to the terror for settled populations. The steppes were brutal: freezing winters, scorching summers, and constant movement with herds. Disease, famine, and raids were commonplace. Elites lost everything. Religious leaders were forced to pray for Mongol victories or face execution. Regions like the Near East were left with piles of bones and ghost towns, where a single Mongol rider could slaughter an entire village paralyzed by fear. The legacy of blood. By Genghis's death in 1227, his empire had reshaped the world, but at what cost? His successors continued the carnage, sacking Baghdad in 1258 and leaving rivers of ink from destroyed libraries. While the Pax Mongolica brought trade and cultural exchange, it was built on mountains of corpses. The environmental impact? So many deaths that global CO2 levels dropped from the reforestation of abandoned lands. Genghis Khan, hero to some, monster to many. His empire's terrifying realities remind us how ambition can unleash hell on earth. If this chilled you to the bone, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more dark history dives. What empire should we expose next? Comment below.